Hey guys, so I read some comments and it says, "Can you keep reading Just a Killer Not Expected?" And since they asked so nicely, keep I will continue Just a Killer Not Expected. We were in chapter 11 and I'm sorry if I didn't continue the other stories. I've been having some trouble with uh YouTube. You know what's wrong and stuff, so forgive me, please. And uh I'm very sorry. I promise you that I will keep trying to post without it messing up and stuff, and things going very bad. So, by the way, my voice is very grouchy. It's because, I actually have no idea why. It's just my voice is really grouchy. I'm very sorry. I apologize for that too. Anyways, guys, let's continue reading chapter 11, Blooming Romance with the Killer. Jessie was in a daze. After hers and Jeff's little accident the night before, they spent a couple of hours watching PewDiePie videos while Jessie introduced him to the funniest videos of the Swedish gamer, all of his most popular and most viewed content. It was the first time she had seen Jeff really laugh at anything. It was kind of nice to be able to spend that much time with someone doing something that they both liked like that. She enjoyed spending time with Anthony and all, but with Jeff, it was different. It was more fulfilling. She felt more at ease with him and more curious as to what he actually liked and disliked. Maybe her researcher side was coming out again. Then there was the accident. She had no idea what came over Jeff, but he completely lost control. Jessie had never felt like that before. But all she knew was that she, as much as she hated to admit it, enjoyed it. Not just what actually happened, but the connection that she felt with the killer. Even if Jeff was a killer, he comforted her when she needed him and let her cry on his shoulder until she stopped. That was also the first time she had ever let anyone comfort her about anything without at least attempting to push them away. But it was not just natural with Jeff. She felt as though she was becoming closer to him as the days went by. Even got to hear what he had felt on the day he killed for the first time from his own lips. He was about to kiss her last night. Jessie? The dazed girl jolted and looked up to see Sally and two other girls sat in front of her in their school cafeteria. One of the girls was part African with long braids and tied up in a high ponytail. And one was a cute original girl with short dark hair. Jessie had completely forgotten that she was in school. Her thoughts really took her over when she contemplated too hard. Sorry, I'm just tired, she said. She smiled, one of her fake smiles, hoping that her friends would quickly drop it. Dude, Levine and Anne here finally watched PewDiePie and liked him. Sally moaned. Come on, be more excited. Yeah, said the girl with the braids. Anne was laughing more than me, though. Levine, you're pissing yourself. You don't even lie. Sally mocked her friend, and they began to playfully fight, while Anne sat there calmly, just drinking from a juice box. Jessie had missed this. She hadn't spent time with her girlfriends in a while since Sally and her were in different classes than Levine and Anne. They were all in the same classes as each other. And after the last year, since in year 12, you can choose what subjects to study. Sally and Jessie seemed to have more similar choices than the other two. They ended up separated from each other for most of the time. She needed to stop spacing out and just enjoyed her time with her friends for as long as she could. Did you see his new one with Ken? The farmer simulator? She asked the others. Nah, we didn't get time. Was it funny? Sally asked. Yeah, Jessie chuckled in remembrance of watching it with Jeff. He and him being really confused whether Ken and PewDie were a couple, due to all the harmonic jokes towards each other. They once again proved that they would be a perfect couple in it. I think fangirls everywhere had multiple nosebleeds. Anne and Sally both laughed, both being fangirls who would ship Ken and PewDie easily. Levine laughed, but knew that her friends were thinking about and not being too amused by it. Levine wasn't one to ship people and didn't really understand the concept of it. She wouldn't take the fun away from her friends. Not being a Yanu fangirl and having all three of her best friends be Yanu fangirls was difficult. Sally sighed. If only they would hook up. Both of them are hot. Why can't they see that they need each other? Jessie nodded in agreement. Hell yeah, they are. And probably because they're both ditzy. Imagine all the things I could do to those guys if I met them. Sally sighed again and gazed into the distance, like a main protagonist in a movie doing Moloch. Sorry guys, I can't pronounce that. Sorry. Anyways, I'm skipping that word if you can pronounce it. Well, you already read for me. Anyways, continuing. Anne laughed. You know PewDie has a girlfriend, right? I can dream, can't I? Yeah. The whole table burst into laughter. Sorry, guys. Anyways, let's continue and act like that never happened. I'm still fixing a little bit of ads in my phone because it's just like too many ads. So sorry guys if you see any ads. I'm probably gonna figure out how to fix that real soon. Anyways, let's continue. And please act like that never happened. Okay. Anyways, we were on I Can Dream, Can I? The whole table burst into laughter. Jessie was used to to having conversations about guys, Yahoo, manga, anime, and gaming with her friends, but mainly about guys. However, all of them being virgins meant that they had no real idea what they're talking about of half the time. But that didn't matter. It it was all in good fun. Although now Jessie had a little inkling due to yesterday's events. Uh okay, I'm not reading that because I hate I don't like reading. Anyways, continuing. Anyways, I'm just gonna skip that. Crimson covered her face and she stopped laughing. She could still feel Jeff rubbing against her crotch, and she could still hear his heavy breathing in front of her face. It was so intense. She wondered whether she should tell her friends or not. She could never tell them that she had an experience like that with the infamous Jeff the Killer, but she made a promise with them that if she ever had a sexual experience, no matter how small, she would tell them. He could try and pretend that it was some guy that she met at that she didn't tell the others about. She didn't tell the others about. Sorry, guys. It was continuing. But she wasn't fond of lying to people close to her, even if it was the only option. Although, before she could even think of saying, she heard a voice behind her. Jessie? Jessie snapped out of it and rotated her chair to see John, standing with his hands in his pockets, smiling at her. "Can I borrow you for a second?" he asked politely, edging his head towards the doors of the cafeteria. She quickly looked back at her friends, who looked confused, except for Sally, who looked extremely annoyed for reasons unknown to Jessie, and then turned back. Sure." She got up and turned back to her friends. "Be back in a minute." Then hesitantly, she walked off with John. Uh, why does John want to talk to Jessie?" Levine asked Sally, who clearly had no interest in discussing the matter, but knew something that she and Anne didn't. Sorry, guys. "Are they going out?" Anne and Levine pushed themselves over closer to Sally, expecting an answer. Sally took a sip of her Coke can and sighed, not replying to her nosy friend's questions. "I thought that Anthony liked her." "He does," Sally muttered, "and this is killing him." The other two looked at each other with concern, then back to Sally. "But if he refuses to tell her how he feels, then there's nothing we can do." "I've got a bad feeling about that Anthony guy." Sally drank more of her Coke, turned towards a nearby window, and Jessie's such an idiot with guys. Damn it. Let's continue. Anyways, skipping all the way back to me or Jessie. Sorry, guys, my voice is cracking a little bit. I meant Jessie. My bad. Anyways, continuing. John and Jessie walked down the corridor beside one another, passing many of John's friends, who all smiled and winked at him as they walked. Jessie didn't like this since it made her feel uncomfortable to walk with him, and it also meant that he had told people about their date, which she was really against, considering she didn't even like him in that way, but endured it. They reached a part of the corridor where the beginning of a staircase stood, and where there was less people. Jessie leaned on the wall, and John stood next to her upright. So I was thinking about our day. Jessie was already frustrated with this conversation. She didn't really want to think about this date, but he kept bringing it up. I was thinking we could go and see a movie, then eat at Nachos. Jessie's face lit up. Nachos? That Spanish chicken place in the city century? That's my favorite restaurant. I know. You told me a year ago when we had to work together in that IPC project. Remember? She honestly hadn't remembered at all until he had just reminded her that just another ICT lesson to her, and she was politely trying to make a conversation about John's favorite food. She couldn't even remember what his response was. It was insignifying to her. Just her way of passing the time well, but he remembered what she had said. Oh, I remember. She looked away from him, concerned her with her ignorance in the situation, hoping to God that he wouldn't ask her what he had said. And that day, she wouldn't be able to answer him. What movie are we gonna see? I was thinking about seeing Runaway from Z-Day, a zombie movie. Awesome. This date was suddenly sounding a lot better than she thought it would sound. Yeah, I remember hearing you and Anthony talking about loving zombie movies, so I thought you'd want to see the newest one. You really remembered me saying that too. Well, yeah. Jessie couldn't believe that he cared that much about whether she had fun on this date or not. Suddenly, she realized just how much John must have liked her. He must have liked her for a while before asking her out if he remembered. What she said over a year ago, what she instantly felt even worse for thinking all those terrible things concerning him, hurting him, killing him. Sounds good. She smiled at him for the first time since she got the feeling around him. Her first genuine smile since then. His heart skipped a beat at the smile. Then he could tell it was genuinely real. Good. Is it alright if we go straight after school on Friday? Sure. Now, Jessie was actually excited about this date. She got to eat after her favorite restaurant and watch a zombie movie that she hadn't seen yet. It was a win-win. However, John was more excited about just spending time with Jessie. This will be the first time they ever spent time outside of school together. Good. I'll see you at the gates then. He turned to walk off. See you then. Jessie waved and smiled. Okay. Jessie sighed and dropped on her bed. I can't believe I actually have a date on Friday. That'll be my first date. It was only 4 p.m., so Jessie knew that she would have to wait a while before Jeff arrived at hers. He hadn't said that he was coming over, but she got a feeling that he was. After he killed the newest victim it was terrible that Jessie knew about Jeff's horrible habit and didn't tell anyone about it, including the police. But she didn't have it in her to tell anyone. Besides, she was turning into a killer too. So what was the point? She might become like him one day. I wonder if he wants to watch more PewDiePie. Maybe I should cook for him, although I'm not sure if he even eats. I've never seen him eat, but he must do, right? He's only human. Maybe we could play some video games together, or I could show him more YouTuber channels like Cries and Kens. Jessie smiled. I can't wait. Wait? I can't wait? Huh? Jessie sat up, analyzing what she just said. Jeff had been a murderer who would have made her one of his victims if it wasn't for the fact that meeting her sparked the killer in her to awaken, and she couldn't wait to see him. What the hell was wrong with her? I can't wait to see Jeff? Now that she mentioned it, she had been thinking of Jeff nonstop since she had met him. Even after John and her had discussed their date, she only could think of Jeff and the way he had affected her life for the past few days, especially what happened between them the night before. His face was so serious when he was grinding against her. He looked cool to her. He almost looked hot. Hold on, do I have a crush on Jeff? The room was silent. Jessie was going red from her question. She had a few crushes in her time, but none of them were near as strong as this one seemed to be. She thought about Jeff constantly. She let him into her house, and even when he basically broke in anyway, she had done sexual things with him already and liked it. She had to admit that she found him attractive, even with his burnt skin, cut out smile, and burnt off eyelids. He said he had an enticing slim body, and she could tell that his face would be so handsome if all of his scars of his past were gone. When he did certain things, she thought that he was cute, like when they were watching PewDiePie videos the night before, and he laughed at certain jokes. But most of all, she felt as though she could lean on him when she needed it. She hadn't even felt that way with Anthony or Sally, her best friends. Why did she trust him so much? Jessie. Nothing could withhold her scream and self-realization. I have a crush on a serial killer? Okay, guys, that was chapter 11. That took a really long time to read. I'm sorry, I have a very bad voice. I don't know what happened to my voice. It just, poof, it was gone. It went all away. I'm very upset that my voice is gone and stuff. But guys, don't worry. We shall keep reading. I'm gonna post a video either today, later, when my voice gets better, or tomorrow. And guys, school is starting very soon for me, so the schedule might be changed up a bit, just a little bit or a lot. It depends, because school is important. You gotta learn and stuff. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I will be reading this, so don't worry. Peace, guys. Bye, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. Anyways, guys, peace.